moving over to the attack. China on the defense. They've swapped sides, and look, I said it before, I'll say it again. Whatever you think about this map and which one has the advantage, it's time to prove it. China on the defense, but it's Thailand planning their attack and trying to decide what you want to do. How are we going to break through these points? Will we pedal to the metal? Will we fly at our opponents? Will we try to break down the walls? I assume so, but let's prove it. Let's use our vehicles effectively, but also keep them alive. Engineers, incredibly valuable here in the early game. While we're watching this tactical deployment here from Thailand, and of course, we'll likely see China's as well. Chat, we've got a ton of you watching today. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, TikTok, all over the place on the English broadcast, and I'm sure our ACL broadcasts have a ton of you as well. We want to hear where you're from. Go ahead and drop in the chat where you're watching this broadcast from. What country, what state, what area of the world, because this truly is a global viewership, a global game, a global esport, and we are on the road to EWC, something that we expect to see next year, hopefully, and I want to know where you're from. So drop it in the chat, Twitch, YouTube, wherever you're watching. We're paying attention to all those chats. We'd love to shout you all out. It looks like we've got folks from Tijuana, Mexico, from Kenya, in Africa, Egypt, all over the world, and that's the fun part about these time zones. We catch so many other people, and I love it, Taylor, and also loving China's breakdown of what they think is the most important here on the defense.
By the way, shout out to Kenya. Kenya's genuinely beautiful. I had a couple of friends go over there when I was deployed in Djibouti. Love to have gone myself, maybe one day, but yeah, we're breaking it down. I think, truthfully, Goj, what this is really going to come down to is Thailand, can they recover mentally?
Sure.
You know, I think Thailand is, man, their mentality might be put into the blender. To be that close to victory and then to lose is so tough. You have to be mentally strong, and then that's where I look at your commander to dig you out of that hole. You know, dig you out of that mental slouch, I guess you could say. Immediately we come into it, we've got the heli in the sky. This time it is going to be Dark Star, one of the leading stars from the Thailand side, who ended up slaying out quite well. And like you said before, man, just straight to the middle. We're going to destroy these buildings so we can have the best chance for Thailand to get onto A quickly.
Yeah, it's a great shot, and you can see that China split up all over this point on both sides, and it looks like our attackers, Thailand, know it. They've swung over from this bridge to try to make a play, and the defense is ready. They've got one vehicle aloft swinging around the right-hand side, making quick work of anybody trying to flank. They're just going to try to clean up these attackers as quickly as they can and just wean numbers down so the actual fight on the point is a little bit easier. But heli in the sky is going to be the problem. We'll see if it's a well-placed AT-4 or something different. I'm excited to see what this helicopter player is able to do. Again, one thing that is a little bit different about the helicopter rather than the tanks is that you're not constantly having engineers spam heal you all over the place. And because of that, they're a little bit more fragile. Not easier to kill necessarily, but at least a bit more fragile at focus. Now, something worth noting, 11 lives in, Thailand is making quick work of A, bodies on point, wiping these players quickly. If this is an omen for how this map's going to go, not going to look very close, albeit I'm sure China is focused on B1 and B2. They'd like to deplete a few more lives here, but it's not necessary. They need to focus on setting up for B1 and B2, which are a lot more easy to hold as the defense.
We're just on board with Paper Cut, who's the leading revive medic for the side of Thailand, and he was put into work right before your eyes, not only getting an elimination, but also picking up 2 to 3 players. Quick capture, Thailand. I questioned their mentality. Would they be able to recover? But clearly they have. But B1, B2 is the sticking point. That was the difficult moment for China, even after they did such a great job on the original A point. Question is, will Thailand have the same struggles China did just a little bit earlier? Obviously, we're going to find all that out and more. For China, though, themselves, they were breaking down their game plans, saw them obviously circling some defensive points. They're going to be setting up quite nicely. And but we start off with the China perspective and immediately into a Sonova and managed to get the elimination. But yeah, things are going to start getting tense, and Thailand's already off to work on B1.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth mentioning a couple things here. Obviously, it's pretty apparent that China was not too interested in holding point A for very long. It doesn't really matter if they would have stalled them out. Who knows? A couple more minutes, they still would have walked up with 180 lives. They were more focused on setting up the defense on B1 and B2 and making sure they get those vehicles down. One thing that's worth mentioning, Darkstar is on the ground. Boots on the ground, no longer in the skies. Helicopter is out for now, and so therefore, I think China's excited about the fact that they're going to be able to hold these 2 points without the worry of the heli in the sky raining terror from above and opening up this choke point. I think it's a great strategy. It's working out well for them. You can see the choke point holding true for China for now as the attackers finally are swinging more vehicles this way and just trying to throw some covering fire through these holes and potentially open up maybe even the jump up over the tents here.
Yeah, that's where China's putting a ton of effort onto the defensive side. Thailand a bit spread out, but again, most effort over on the B1 side. And for China, their defense has been very strong today. Let's go back to their matchup against Japan, and that was on Cracked. Remember, Japan couldn't even get the first point. China held it down so long, and as you mentioned, and wisely so, and I agree with you, Ghosh, yeah, they weren't interested in holding A, but now you're going to see the true testament of what the defense is like for China on B1 and B2, and you know, Thailand is trying. They really are. They're trying to break through. They've lost a couple of lives. They're still relatively healthy, but something is telling me in my gut that China's defense is going to be something to behold. Do you think Thailand really has a chance? I like this off angle, though. I mean, they're going straight into B2. Yeah. Nobody from China's over here.
See, this is the thing you've got to do with these vehicles. There's two things that you have to do. One, you need to get into some of these points while carrying a full squad. You're able to drop off a ton of infantry onto a point like that and make your way through and keep the vehicle alive. Huge, huge boon. Two, if you're able to get there fast enough before combat arises, people can spawn on you. So you can even get more people onto that point more quickly. This is a great way to enter onto B2 effectively if they're able to hold it. The defense has answered back, and I think they're able to recap it, but you should see that strategy at least one more time, probably a couple more times, if they're able to keep their vehicles alive.
I'm impressed, Coach. That's a brilliant strategy. It really is, and it took me off guard. Luckily, it didn't take Thailand off guard like I thought it was, or China, excuse me. They hold on tight, but brilliantly done from Thailand. I love the effort, like you said, one more time, but the question is, will it even work the next time? Because China was clearly all over it. They managed to successfully recover B1 and B2 very well. Thailand, though, does get a couple of ticks onto B1, forcing China to then rotate back and, well, obviously, and try and get it for themselves. They do have a couple of vehicles, but they don't have the manpower on foot up close and personal. So because, oh, there is going to be one on the flank, though, but how much of an impact can he have? Well, not too much, but are those individuals, sometimes it's really risky, but if it pays off, you could do a lot of damage to the attacking side. Luckily, though, it is going to be Thailand who sniffs it out and therefore can continue to start the capture onto B, which might be successful. So far, China hasn't have an answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly a great shout. Sometimes we like to say this in a lot of our games, and I continue to say it here with Delta Force because it's actually so true. The route man gets paid. Sometimes you make the right route, and you're able to pick up 3-4. They're holding down a choke point, and it's just enough for your team to have player advantage. It's a huge boon, and there was a moment there where Thailand had a great value on B1 for two reasons. One, that I just said, a heroic play. It opened up the choke point. They were able to get on the point. And then secondly, because they had distracted so much on B2 earlier, the problem is China has fully restabilized and they're able to lock down now both points as it looks like Thailand is reassessing and trying to regroup for another push. As a reminder, this is a fully functioning esports team of 20 people, and so you don't just see these players sprinting to the point and closing their eyes and hoping they make it and can make a difference. They're not trying to be heroes, they're trying to play as a team, and so you're seeing more coordinated pushes, which is why this is a lot more of a tug-of-war than maybe you would see in pubs.
Yeah, it's a constant back and forth. You know, China, obviously their defense is great, so Thailand tries. The route man, like you said, the route man gets paid. They take the vehicle. They drop somebody off over on B2, which theoretically should transfer China's defensive forces over into the B2 area, therefore leaving B1 exposed. Then you put your efforts on the attacking side for Thailand, you put your effort on B1, and vice versa. If that doesn't work, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's try something else. Well, so Thailand, what do? They send their effort and their full forces onto B1 to try and capture it. It does work a little bit, but then China takes it back. Okay, no problem. Let's try it again. And now it's starting to pay off. B1 is now close to being captured. And China, now they have to go back to the drawing board. How do we retake it? And ultimately, how do we push Thailand back? It's constant give and take. That's why we constantly say, you know, tug of war. And that's what we're seeing. It's a great example of that. But this is the first true progress Thailand is really making. B1, though, is going to be taken back by China. But they've also managed, Thailand has managed to get onto B2. So I'm liking the moving pieces for Thailand, Goj. I mean, it seems like it's starting to pay off a bit. I think they're making headway.
Yeah, and able to take down vehicles as well. Able to pick up a couple of the Chinese vehicles. Let's tune in with China and see what they're thinking. Here they come.
2秒，2秒，2秒，2秒。还有，后面，这边一个，趴一个，左里趴一个，快趴一个，这铁丝往里。没事，我们人在活。点就这里面，二楼一个，对面烟里，对面在烟里，二楼一队，这里二楼一队 ，OK。你们这里，二楼 ，B 二楼。叫开了，战们自己上车，叫先老喵不要往前开了，让我往后开。老喵往后开，老喵往后开，战们上车。我们右一点打，没事。不用救我，他们去海墙了。
Back against the wall. They were so close to sitting this already to C1 and C2. I say already, I mean 76 lives isn't a crazy amount, but compared to last round where they swung over with, I think it was around 30 or so to push it to the new, it would have been quite a bit earlier. But a great hold yet again. China comes back in with some defensive vehicles, and they're able to provide enough covering fire to get bodies on points. They're trading, but they're still up. And again, when the tug of war is happening, you don't have to win the tug of war. You just need to keep it going when you're on the defense. Very well done. Here's a nice push here from Thailand to cap B1 and send a full force to B2. They have to win with player disadvantage. I think it's difficult. Saniva's still constant and such a bother on both sides, beating people down and just tanking a ton of bullets for their team. I'm loving how many Saniva operators we're seeing right now, and this is a big moment for Thailand. This is not make or break, but one of the few remaining pushes they have where they have fully stabilized on a point and can swing on the second point to try to take it. 2 vehicles on that point, though, going to be difficult to overcome. You can already see it in the kill feed. Good grief. Hot JB Cat and his successor on the other side, if you will, in another vehicle, raining terror and holding the line.
On the line is it. Winter, a beautiful off angle from Thailand. Trying to just get any amount of damage he can. Unfortunately, he's just shooting his teammates. No worries, though. He'll find an opportunity to get his hands on to China for sure. But in the meantime, he'll stay into the back lines and will now transfer over, of course, to the overhead view. Thailand needs to be serious, and they've got to come back. Let's listen to the comms.
Okay. ผมตายบนเต็นท์นะในเต็นท์เยอะในเต็นท์มีเต็นท์ต้องมี2 ขวายมือเยอะมากพี่เราต้องมาเคลียร์ขวาว่ะมีรถเกิดหลังเต็นท์ขวานะมี2 ทางขวาเยอะมาก
I want to say they almost sound a little bit more quiet, and what worries me about that, that's what their comms were sounding like just before they lost B1 and B2, Goj. I hope we're not about to see another repeat of that. Granted, they've done a wonderful job trying to capture B1 and B2, but every effort has been thwarted. Every single time that they get close to finally moving on to the next sector, they get shut down by China. And I'm really hoping they're not mentally defeated. 46 lives left. Yes, they are in dire straits, but they still have a couple good efforts left before they have reached the end point where there is no return. So for them, after those comms, I'm hoping they step it up because Thailand, you can absolutely move on to the next sector, but you got to get serious here.
Hey, this is the exact same conversation we were having last map with China, or last round even on this map that we had with China on the attack. We were saying the same song, the same dance. Oh, it's looking grim. I don't know if they can do it. It's just about taking your time, surmounting a well-coordinated push, and you can take both of these points. It is difficult, but you got to make a move, and you got to make a move very soon. 40 lives in, counting. Reminder, China took both with about 30, and talk about an onslaught back and forth in the smoke. We are dancing in close quarters combat, and we're not even in cover. We're just out in the open, bodies everywhere, and basically
everywhere.
Bobo's the only one standing, and I love it for him. This man will not go down playing the Overwatch position. It's working out well for him. He's going to make sure these people stay down.
That is insane. Some of the views you get from the spectator mode with this 20 versus 20 is... it just blows me away. Buildings crumbling, bodies everywhere. It truly is a war zone, and I love every bit of it. But let's get serious and sober the mood up. 24 lives remaining. B2 still needs to be captured, and Thailand is quickly running out of time. The defense has been impenetrable from China's perspective, and things are starting to get grim. If you're a fan of Thailand, send your energy their way. They need it. But China, they're looking to take away all hope. Not only do they have B2, they're also starting to recapture B1, down to 13 lives. China has the vehicles and the positioning, and Thailand might be over with. I think this is it.
Gee whiz.
Like I said, we rang the alarm bells right earlier, but I think this time the alarm bells are finally ringing. This seems to be the beginning of the end.
Hot JB Cat is inevitable. The vehicle prowess from this man to not only command his team, but also maintain pressure with vehicles, top frag. We know vehicles are valuable, but he's making them look like everything in this mode. You can see him, Hot JB Cat, situated inside of B2, just sitting there barraging these players. He said, you want B1? Fine. I've got cover. I can dodge missiles inside, but I still have sight lines. Come and get a taste of this medicine, which is a shell right to the face. No chance to capture B2, especially when you've got the stalwart Bobo holding the line and picking up 4 or 5 kills in transition. No one can find him, and he continues to shoot bodies because he wants to make sure they're not getting up. 10 lives and counting. Bobo is a menace, and he can't be stopped either.
Man, Bobo is a menace without question. He's been a menace all tournament long, not only against Japan, but also against Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, China is 9 lives away from securing a grand final spot. Not only a chance to play for $40,000, but a guaranteed $30,000 going their way. Now 8 lives away. Thailand, last-ditch effort. A last-ditch effort, a miracle push, a miracle run. But even if they do pull off the miracle play, they still have to capture the next sector with a limited amount of lives. I hate to say it. Thailand put up a wonderful fight, but they just weren't able to get it done. And all they could do is just get a quick little tag onto B2 before quickly being shut down and overrun. Look at all the green on your screen. That's China. That's the defense mowing down each and every player from Thailand and quickly and inevitably taking all 6 lives away and ultimately taking victory. Coach, it was a great effort. Thailand put up a wonderful fight. I loved it, but China's just too strong.
Putting a vehicle on B2 like that on the low side, it's just so difficult to break through, and because of that, China has made it to the grand finals. They've won the winter finals. Have they won it all? No, not yet, but they have assuredly won at the base minimum $30,000 because they might get second tomorrow. You never know what happens, but we're going to be seeing them in the grand finals. Congratulations to this team. They've done it. And I know that Thailand is frustrated. It's not over, though. It's double elimination. You never know what could happen tomorrow, but that is the last round of the last game today as we went through both semifinals and then the winners finals. A close match in round 1.